Pikul peeps? Coming to you completely like fresh-faced today because all my makeup is packed and we're getting ready to hit the road, or hit the skies I should say, in about 6 hours. So I wanted to come in today and talk about like entrepreneurs on vacation, and more specifically packing for vacation. So I don't know how many of you know this, but I have an extreme love of travel. It's actually what got me into entrepreneurism in the first place, was my love of travel. And I've learned a couple of things along the way to make the packing for travel super duper ridiculous easy, as long as you don't get inside your own head. So that's what we're going for today. Let me know in the comments if you also love traveling, if you are totally like, if you're a packing whiz, or if packing is like the most stressful thing in the world for you. I can pack for a couple months trip in like half an hour. So like, boom, done. So I first fell in love with travel when I was 13 years old, and I got to spend my spring break in London. My school did EF tours, like a lot of schools do, and I got the chance, I might have been 14 at that point, I don't remember, but I got the chance to go to London, and it was amazing. And I can remember we were for 5 days, and I had a massive, huge carry-on and 2 suitcases. That's what they allowed us. 5 days. Like, I think back, I'm like, what the hell did I take with me that required 2 full suitcases and a carry-on? Like, what? I think we had a carry-on, a personal item, and 2 suitcases. I just like, ugh. But that's what I thought it was. I had never traveled before, and that's what you were allowed to take. So kind of Parkinson's law, whatever you were allowed, whatever you have to consume, in this case, space and luggage, I found a way to fill it. No problem there. Absolutely ridiculous. And then the following years, I also got to travel during spring break. I went to Italy 2 years in a row. And before you go, wow, Melissa's spoiled growing up, I worked my ass off over the summers. I come from a farming community, and I would work farmers markets over the summer. I mean, like at the barn, 4, 5, 6 a.m., depending where we were going, back home, like, because we would travel to New York City to do the greens markets, and then back home anywhere between 3 and 7 at night. And I started this job at age 13. So I must have traveled when I was 14. I started this job at age 13 and immediately decided that my summer funds were to be spent on travel. Like, I am working my ass off for the summer so that I can travel over spring break and have like these absolutely amazing vacations, being the first of my family to, outside of the military, travel abroad. So that happened. And so that was my first year. And I continued, like, on those trips, I would take like these massive suitcases with me, like huge ones that you struggle to lift upstairs, which is where my rule number 1 kind of started to happen. But it really hammered in when we were on one of those EF tours. We were in Italy, and we were a group of high school kids, and there was a group of college kids who were with us. And most of them had suitcases like we did. But one person walked on to the bus when we were in Italy, and I remember she had a pockadoo, and she had one like carry bag, not even the size of a full duffel, maybe a size of a small duffel, but it was a regular, like, I don't know, to me it'd be like a very, very large pockadoo. And that was all she brought with her. That was all. And I remember thinking to myself, like, how did you do that? How could you know what you were going to need? And like, how could that be all you packed? I was just flabbergasted and astounded, and meanwhile was trying to buggy lug my 2 massive suitcases plus my carry-on and my personal item up like multiple flights of stairs in the hotels. So like, yeah. But that kind of stayed in my head. And then when I traveled to Italy, and I lived in Italy for several months while I was in college, I had the opportunity to travel every single weekend. And when you're traveling for just a weekend, like, I would shove clothes in my personal item, and boom, I'm good to go. I'm pretty sure that's how I did it. Or I had like a duffel bag and my computer bag, and boom, we were good to go. And then at the end of my stay in Italy, I spent about a month just traveling Europe. So from Florence, I went to London for a couple of days, up to Glasgow, where my regular college roommate was living. From Glasgow, we went to Poland. From Krakow, from Krakow, I went to Romania, which to this day is like my favorite part of the trip, was going to Romania. And I traveled all like throughout Romania. And then from there we were back to Italy. So like absolutely amazing end of that Italian stay right there. But doing so, that is where like I solidified most of my rules of travel. And I want to bring them for you right here. They are Melissa's 5 packing rules to make travel a breeze. And yes, I actually have them written down. You can see, ba-boom. All right, so number 1. This was inspired by the lady in Italy and cemented on my travels. If you can't carry it, you can't take it with you. This is also how I feel about Black Friday shopping in stores. If you can't carry it, you can't have it. But that's a story for another time. But this rule is straight up because when you are traveling, you never know when you're going to have a really tight connection. You never know when you're going to be sprinting to catch a train, catch a bus, catch a plane. Most recently when I was in Atlanta airport and they were doing last calls for my plane for my transfer. Oh, so nervous about a 40-minute layover in Atlanta. And I could not get off of that first plane fast enough and then try to figure out that airport like, hey. So if you cannot pick your luggage up and sprint, doesn't have to be long distances. Make it dwarf mentality here. Very dangerous over short distances. If you cannot pick up your luggage and sprint through an airport, you've got too much stuff. You got too much stuff. So that is my rule number 1. Nowadays, what do I carry with me? I have one of the medium-sized carry-ons and I have my backpack. That's it. My backpack carries all of my tech stuff and my suitcase has all of my regular stuff. So that is rule number 1. Rule number 2, pack for your activities only. So I don't know about you, Pickle Peep, but I am not a stay in the hotel, lounge around person. Like, I'm off having adventures, I'm in the pool, I am like doing the fun stuff. I am not one to just like lounge in the hotel room. And if I was just lounging in the hotel room, I don't know that I would care what I was wearing. But anyway, pack only for the activities you're going to be doing. So like on this trip coming up, I know that what are like the fancy things I need? We're going axe throwing, that's regular clothes. I'm going hiking, okay, so I need a workout outfit. And we're conferencing. And I know that the conference is going to give us at least 2 t-shirts. I will come back to you on Wednesday with an unboxing of what we get there, but I know we're going to get at least 2 t-shirts. Why? We got 2 t-shirts in Mexico. And we got probably 4 or 5 shirts at Funnel Hacking Live, but still. So pack only for the activities you're going to be doing. If you're not planning outright to go on fancy nights and whatnot, don't worry about fancy dresses. I was looking at packing a fancy dress for this for like the welcome dinner or one of the farewell dinners or whatnot, and I was like, you know what, I got some nice shirts, I got some cute jeans, and I got a cute like kimono pullover thing, all stuff, mind you, that packs down really small and does not matter if it's wrinkled. That's a bonus tip. So I don't need the dress. All right, so I looked at it very specifically. I'm very, like, pull out all my clothes. I put back like 3/4 of the clothes that I'm going to bring, because I know that. This also depends on if you have laundry services available to you and how long your trip is. So I always try to keep it that I have laundry available to me at least some points during the trip. Yes, that's number 2. Keep it simple. Always keep it simple. Number 3 tip, and this is especially from me being in New York and traveling typically to warmer places. I'm not usually traveling to some place that's also very cold, even when it's very cold in New York. But tip number 3 is always wear your bulkiest items on the plane. So, I don't know about you, but like, that suitcase is pretty limited in space. So usually my bulkiest shoes are sneakers or hiking shoes. Those are the shoes I'm wearing on the plane. Those are the shoes I'm wearing to the airport, so I don't have to worry about them taking up unnecessary room in my suitcase. I'm also going to be wearing my sweatshirt or my hoodie or whatever that is on the plane. A, because I get cold on planes, but B, because that takes up unnecessary space in the suitcase. So be very conscious of what takes up space. That's what you should be wearing or prioritizing wearing in the airport. All right, and number 4, my most important tip for travel is always bring with you a collapsible duffel bag. So I have no problem like flying to places with just my carry-on bag. I hate checking luggage. Yes, when I moved to Italy, they lost my luggage, so that's like forever made it so I don't ever want to check luggage. But that's going there. Coming back, I have no problem checking luggage because if it's delayed, well, they can just ship it to me. I'm not going to suffer. Everything I need is at my house. But if you're going someplace where there will be shopping, gifting, swag, merch, any of that stuff involved. Heck, I created this rule when my sister and I went to Disney for the first time. We were smart. We packed a collapsible duffel bag into our suitcases, and that way all of our souvenir, all of our shopping, the like 15 souvenir cups that we got and the popcorn bucket that we may or may not have brought home, I don't remember, all of that went into the duffel bag. And boom, we had no trouble getting back. So we had our regular carry-ons and we just checked the duffel bag. So that has worked for me on every single trip thus that I have been on. Always, always, always 100% pack a collapsible duffel. It takes up very little space in your suitcase, especially if you're following rule 3 and wearing your bulkiest items. You have that extra space in there, and now you are pre-framed and prepped to bring more stuff home. Plus you have that extra space in your suitcase from your duffel. So if you have stuff that doesn't fit in your duffel, you can put it right in that suitcase. Or if you're like me and you're going to these conference things and you tend to get a lot of books, which are heavy, put the books in the duffel bag and keep your regular checked carry-on item nice and easy. Because remember, you gotta lift it and put it into that overhead bin. And I don't know about this trip, but last trip I was on, flight attendants were not touching our things and helping anymore. So cheers to that. All right, I hope you guys have found this helpful. I know it's a complete departure from everything else that I usually talk about on this channel, but I thought if you're going to conferences, if you're traveling for your business, these are the tips to make, whether it's a weekend trip, a week-long trip, a multi-month trip. I guess a multi-month trip, I'd probably ship stuff there ahead of time if it was in the US. I don't know. But I hope you found this helpful and that yeah, so let me know down below, like, do you fly? I guess that's the first question. I even follow these rules for when I'm in a car because you never know. When you get to the hotel, the elevator might be out, or you're buggy lugging those suitcases up the stairs. You better be able to carry them all, right? Remember, short distances. And yeah, that's it. All right, everyone. Tomorrow, this is our last video here in the studio for about a week. I did not pre-record anything, so tomorrow's video will actually be live from Arizona, where I'm meeting up with Coach Regine Roberts. I'm so excited, and we're gonna have an absolutely amazing time. So I'll be seeing you next time, several states over. Until then, you guys have an epic day while you're building your epic business, and tell me, please, below, what is your #1 epic trip? Of all the places that I've been, I've lived in England, I've lived in Italy, I have traveled the entire east coast of the US, and now a decent amount of the rest of it. My best trip ever was in 2016, I think. Epic Trip 16, where we flew out to Arizona and road tripped it back through all the national parks. So that was excellent. Tell me yours in the comments below. And until then, I'll see you later.